Hi everyone. So, um, I decided to make videos for the Tea Time Tuesdays, which, for anyone watching this, is a women's Bible study that I decided to do with my church. It just was something I wanted to do in my heart, so I'm gonna do my best to try to keep these short, since they're gonna be in video format. Which means also that some of the lessons are probably going to be cut up, but I'll try to keep it at like 10 minutes for each lesson, and you are free to go back and watch it as much as you need to. So again, this is Tea Time Tuesdays. So if you're watching this, hopefully it's a Tuesday, depending on my connection, my internet. I'm going to be looking down at my notes as I go. So today's lesson. So we've already actually gone over 3 of them. So I'm starting with lesson 4. I might go back and do the other 3 on here, but we'll see. Okay. For right now, we're doing lesson 4. So today's lesson is called The Wonder of Recreation. And again, this is from a devotional book called Woman of God, Wonderfully Made. Okay. So I'm going to be reading from 1 Corinthians 5, verse 21, New NASB, New American Standard Bible 2020, and it reads, He made him who knew no sin to be sin in our behalf, so that we might become the righteousness of God in him. This particular verse, which is discussed in this lesson, is describing what is called the Great Exchange, right? Christ takes our sin up on the cross, and in exchange for his sacrifice, we are given his righteousness. Okay, so Jesus was holy, obedient, and right with God in every way, right? The Bible tells us that, he knew no sin. He experienced everything that we could possibly imagine as people, and he did not sin, which further, lets us know he knows exactly what you're going through. He knows how you feel. He's dealt with every temptation, and he has defeated it for you on the cross, right? So sometimes we have that tendency to feel like, does he really understand? Does anybody really understand what I'm going through? If nobody else understands, Jesus understands. Okay, and he has defeated it for you. Okay, so because of the Father's mercy, God gave us Jesus' righteousness. Our sin did not just evaporate, right? Oh, I missed a part here. We, on the other hand, are very familiar for sin, right? So Christ knew no sin, but we are very familiar with sin. We are sinners saved by grace, right? So because of the Father's mercy, God gave us Jesus' righteousness, and this is a direct quote from the book. Our sin did not just evaporate. God added sin to Jesus' account. Jesus was punished for it on Calvary's cross. So, just to clarify again, right? He took on our sin, so he was punished for it in our place. Like, we deserve to be on that cross. We deserve death. But the reason why we are still here is because of what Jesus has done for us. Okay. So, knowing this, right, we're going to read that verse again. Okay. And again, this is 1 Corinthians 5, verse 21, NASB 2020. He made him who knew no sin to be sin in our behalf, so that we might become the righteousness of God in him. Okay. So, again, this is the great exchange, or as the devotion puts it, the greatest exchange, right? This is the gospel message, the good news that sets our hearts ablaze with joy and floods our lives with thanksgiving. Okay? Jesus became fully, totally, completely sinful so that now in Jesus we are fully, holy, righteous, blameless before God. I don't know how you can hear about Jesus' sacrifice and not feel moved or feel anything other than maybe that is a form of self-righteousness or lack of humility. Um, for me, when I have those moments where I'm reading it and it just becomes like, I have to immediately check my own heart because maybe I'm being a little bit of a Pharisee and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, he died for me, but so far away from that. And it's like, nah, girl, you messed up yesterday. You messed up like this morning. Like, what are you talking about? So even the things that, the world has a tendency to say like, oh, well, I don't think it's that big a deal. No, I mean, is it really that bad? All unrighteousness is sin, and sin leads to death, right? The wages of sin are death. Therefore, yeah, it's that big a deal. You have a lot to be grateful for. You have a lot to be thankful for, right? When you really start thinking about how undeserving you are, something should be moving in you. So if you ever get to that point where it's just like, yeah, yeah, I've heard that before, whatever, and you're a believer, check your heart. Okay. So, one thing before I go, because I'm wrapping up, I kept the lesson short this time. Those who know, when I do the lessons, I have a hard time because, usually it would be like an hour. That's why I'm trying to like, this was a struggle, but praise God, we gonna be under 10 minutes. So, just a reminder, right? Sin didn't go away, but because of the Son, Jesus Christ, we have that much more help to be able to fight against it, to stand up when we fall, and to come and be forgiven when we ought to be declared guilty and thrown away forever. If you have breath in your body, then now is the time to accept the gift you've been given. So I gotta break it down a little bit, right? With a little bit of time I got. I can't do anything in my own strength, and I shared that with the ladies last week. Um, you know, how it took me falling in my sin, right? Even after the countless warnings this year, it was like in February, and it was like boosh, just fell head first. For me to wake up that next day and realize just how badly I need God, right? I can't do it in my own strength, and I certainly can't do it in my own righteousness because Isaiah says my righteousness is that of filthy rags. So, my righteousness is nothing, right? We couldn't do it. That's why Jesus came. So it's like, again, we hear those things and yet somehow it's not clicking, right? Like it doesn't process until you're at that moment of where you are in complete, just total surrender. Like, you know what, Lord, I really can't do this without you. I really can't do this without you. So regardless of, whatever it is, today is that day. Now is the time because you don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. I thought that too before I gave my life to Christ. Like, oh, I have plenty of time. I'll do it when I get right. I have a business where I help people with language conversation. I think there's a train coming. So sorry about that. But constantly there are people like, oh, I want to be fluent. I just want it to be kind of an automatic thing, and they think about being fluent, but until you actually put in the work, it's not going to happen. So Jesus has already done the work for us. All you got to do is just accept this gift. Like, he's giving you this gift, accept that gift. All right, so I kept it on 10 in the 10 minutes. So thanks for watching. God bless, and hopefully see you again, or watch it again, I guess. So awkward. Bye.